Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. All the earmarks of an organized crime group, Toronto Police announced results of major armed robbery investigation. Ontario and DPATU Canada increased calls for funding staffing for transit safety. Double shooting overnight in North York seriously injures 2 men. Mitzi Hunter, Josh Matlow pitched Toronto transit safety plans. Freedom convoy in full swing when emergency law invoked, feds tell court. Ontario to beef up tenant protections, housing minister says. These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details. Renters will have new protections against so-called renovictions, Ontario's housing minister said Wednesday. Steve Clark said the government is proposing changes that include requiring landlords to give tenants a 60-day grace period to move back in once renovations are complete at the same rent they were paying before. The requirement is one of the several changes the government is proposing to help renters, Clark said at an announcement in London, Ontario. The province is also considering changes to standardized municipal rental replacement bylaws, he said. Clark said he is proposing changes to double the maximum fines for offences to individuals to $100,000 and corporations to $500,000 who do not follow the law. The province will also enhance renters' rights to install air conditioning, Clark said. Attorney General Doug Downey said the province will spend $6.5 million to appoint 40 additional adjudicators and 5 office staffers to the landlord and tenant board. He said the hirings will help the board operate more efficiently after seeing lengthy backlogs increase due to pandemic. Critics have long called the rent control in the province, but government has not said it will do so. NDP housing critic Jessica Bell said she welcomed new adjudicators but remains trepidatious of any government changes because they have not been on the side of renters. Bell said she worries about accessibility and equity issues in online hearings with the landlord and tenant board. If you do not speak English well, if you don't have access to reliable internet connection or a computer, you could be removed from the online hearing process and be evicted just because you ran out of cell phone minutes, she said. 2 more Toronto mayoral candidates are pitching their plans to get safety on the TTC back on track following several high-profile incidents of violence on the network in the past year. After submitting her nomination papers on Monday, Mitzi Hunter unveiled her 5-point plan Wednesday, which lists support for those struggling with mental health, addiction, and homelessness as a top priority. To that end, Hunter says she wants to pair transit officers up with social workers to de-emphasize sole focus on enforcement by transit officers and emphasize public safety. Beyond mental health supports, Hunter said she wants to install glass sliding doors on all subway platforms to act as a track-level barrier after Toronto's busiest subway station, Bloor-Yonge, was the site of 3 attempted phishings in 2023. Candidate Brad Bradford also called the barriers to be installed on subway platforms on Tuesday, starting with high-traffic stations like Bloor-Yonge, Eglinton Fitch, and St. George. Both candidates face the same challenge, with such a campaign promise it's expensive. The TTC's latest estimates claim it could cost north of $1.35 billion. Bradford says the barriers needed, but the current city councillor said he believes there could be cheaper, more affordable ways to install them. Like Hunter's plan, Matlow said his platform would deliver expanded mental health supports by way of transit crisis teams specializing in de-escalation, as well as additional improved shelter access. The pitches of increased transit safety come as the president of the Amalgamated Transit Union Canada said the number of violent incidents on TTC is out of control. Last month, Toronto Police ended extra patrols on the TTC implemented in response to the increased violence due to a lack of municipal funding. The boosted police presence was recovered by police officers working overtime shifts at a total cost of roughly $1.5 million per month, something the city said it could not afford indefinitely without more funding. A federal lawyer says the Freedom Convoy movement was still in full swing the day the Liberal government invoked the Emergencies Act early last year, justifying the extraordinary measures. John Provert told a federal court hearing today that the notion that protests and blockades across Canada were being brought under control by the point is little short of revisionist history. Lawyers for the federal attorney general are spelling out reasons the court should dismiss arguments from several groups and individuals opposed to the government's use of emergency law. Civil liberties and constitutional defense groups have told Justice Richard Mosley this week that the government did not meet the legal threshold for resorting to the Emergencies Act. The act allowed for temporary measures including the prohibition of public assemblies, the designation of secure places, direction to banks to freeze assets, and a ban on support for participants. The government says the extraordinary measures were targeted, proportional, time-limited, and compliant with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. 2 men were rushed to hospital after being shot early Wednesday morning in North York. The shooting happened in the Newronbrook area at the Wedgwood Plaza at 5999 Yonge Street, just north of Cummer Avenue. Toronto police said they were called to a scene just before 2 a.m. In the parking lot of Plaza, officers found 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds. Their injuries are serious, police said. Paramedics said they transported the 2 victims to a trauma center. Investigators who remain at the scene have not released any information about suspects or suspect vehicle at this time. Toronto police are urging anyone with information to contact them or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Toronto police have charged 6 people and recovered nearly $1 million in stolen property following an investigation into a series of carjackings and armed robberies that date back to last summer. Police announced the arrests at a news conference on Thursday morning, noting that the suspects targeted pharmacies and financial institutions and operated in a way that has all the earmarks of an organized crime group. In an operation they called Project Repeater, Toronto police worked with officers from Peel, York, and Halton regions, as well as Ontario Provincial Police, to investigate these crimes, including 7 carjackings, 2 motor vehicle thefts, 2 currency exchange robberies, and 23 pharmacy robberies. A total of 4 people were arrested during the course of investigation, and 2 suspects already in custody had additional charges laid against them. Police say the stolen cars were all high-value luxury vehicles like Land Rovers and Porsches. Usually stolen luxury cars are shipped overseas in industrial containers to resell, but Inspector Rich Harris of the TPS Hold-Up Squad says many of the stolen vehicles were able to be recovered before they got that far through GPS tracking. Over $980,000 worth of stolen vehicles have been recovered by GTA police so far, with 2 stolen vehicles still outstanding. According to police, the 4 suspects traveled around GTA in stolen vehicles to commit these robberies. Police say that in the majority of incidents, the suspects were armed with handguns, but at other times, they used a knife or physical violence to intimidate victims. Answering a reporter, Harris said the group of suspects has all the earmarks of an organized crime group due to their use of violence and calculated, premeditated approach to car theft and robberies. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.